Fan films of existing properties are definitely an interesting topic. They're either campy and okay, or awful and make you feel sick. There was a weird MegaMan fan film we got back in 2009. I remember as a young teenager watching that and geeking out, because at the time I was a huge MegaMan fan. I watched it again later as an adult, and yeah, it's super cheesy and definitely feels like it has a college budget. We also had a Sonic the Hedgehog fan film that predates the ones that we have in Hollywood now, and it was interesting to say the least. We got Predator Dark Ages, which took place during the medieval era. This is one that I do go back to and watch again from time to time. They even have a few decent Spider-Man ones on YouTube that no one really talks about that I want to talk about at the end of this video. You should stick around for that. The problem with a lot of these fan movies is not necessarily the cast's fault. They're usually new to acting, new to filming. Their script writing skills could still use some work. Whether they end up being good or whether they end up being bad, they're obviously passionate about the source material. Passionate enough to put this much time and money into seeing something like these come to life on screen. Spider-Man Lotus is a recent amateur film that's been in the making for a handful of years. It was insanely hyped up when the announcement trailer came out. It was enough to grab the attention and blessing from not only Jon Watts, but Andrew Garfield. In 2021, when I saw the trailer for this, I was extremely hyped, I'm not gonna lie. Time passes, and within the last week, we have seen the official release. Now, you may have found out about Spider-Man Lotus first from all of the controversies that came out surrounding this film and some of the actors. About a year ago, we had screenshots and receipts that show some pretty distasteful stuff. Turns out the director and some of the main cast, that includes the actor for Green Goblin and the actor for Peter Parker, they didn't really have a lot of cool things to say when they were in high school. Edgelords with spicy language. They also reportedly overworked their VFX team, which if any of their work is an example here on the final version, they did a fantastic job, at least most of the time. Some of the other cast allegedly just completely disavow the film. Allegedly. The actor for Green Goblin is a groomer. The Groom Goblin. I'm not a big fan of that. Some of this is all just word of mouth, so that's all I could say. Fall into the rabbit hole at your own risk. Completely coincidentally, this movie is releasing alongside another superhero fan film that is amassing very similar controversy called Superman Solar.
I've never faced anyone who could move me, let alone throw me. You've showed me today that I could bleed. I'm even more like humans than I thought.
However, for the sake of this video alone, I want to judge Spider-Man Lotus for what it is. In an alternative timeline, in an alternate universe, how would this film hold up on its own if not for the controversies already plaguing the name of this movie? I will tell you right now that this movie isn't exactly horrible. There are redeeming qualities about it. Is it awkward? Does it feel like a college kid made this with a college kid budget? Do I have to answer that question? It does a couple things right, but overall I do feel like it's a snore fest, and I have seen more entertaining Spider-Man fan films on YouTube. A lot of the dialogue and writing here kind of feels like something straight out of the book from a CW TV series. The story revolves around Peter Parker dealing with the loss of Gwen Stacy, and then Harry Osborn's dealing with the loss of his father. It is essential to explore the very real human side of these characters and the balance between superhero and average Joe, but Spider-Man Lotus drags when it tries to make you feel for these interactions. Spider-Man Lotus opens up to a speeding car throughout New York City. Look, I know it's a fan-made film, but this road scene looks like it was rendered in MS Paint. What did they use to edit this film? Adobe After Effects? More like Adobe Before Effects. Oh yeah, right on the nose with that TASM license plate reference there, huh? Yeah, make sure you get a long shot of that in case people missed it. He stops the criminal's car, they get out of the car, Shocker is revealed, which honestly, I kinda dig the outfit, but it does remind me a little of the Scarecrow from Batman. Other problems I have with the movie, what else we got? See, there's very, very, very few action scenes that we get, and when we do see these action scenes, the timing doesn't feel right with the edits. This is usually common in a film like this. We also see Spider-Man do unnecessary flips because he's Spider-Man, he just does flips. For the few Spider-Man quips that we do get, some of them don't make any sense or just don't really land at all.
All right, look, if you turn yourselves in, I might throw in a collectible item. What are you wearing?
It's my shocker suit.
Your shocker suit.
Spider-Man sprints right into the trio of regular thugs and pulls them into Shocker's blast. This is a scene which has been criticized a lot online. They're saying that it's out of character for Spider-Man to be throwing people into harm's way like this. I find it actually a little in character. Earlier, we saw Spider-Man get hit with this electric shock thing and he was only hurt, not even his suit was burnt up. I myself can buy it. I could see Spider-Man trying to find a way to get the thugs knocked out so he can get right to his main opponent.
Better like next time.
Boo! Boo! Now that I think about it, why did the thugs have a license plate homage to the guy they absolutely wouldn't be fans of? It's kind of strange. After that, we get to watch this extremely long establishment shot that overstays its welcome completely. If they're gonna pay for the goddamn B-reel, they're gonna use the goddamn B-reel. Peter gets a flashback of before the deaths occurred. Gwen gets upset at Peter because he missed the movie they were supposed to see together. Harry tries to convince her to stay.
Hey, wait a minute. It's barely too late.
I don't know.
No, come on, I'll pay for you guys. Completely on me.
Harry,
I know the perfect place, too.
I
Go
just...
ahead.
She said no, buddy, all right? Goddamn, she said no. It's revealed that Peter wants to propose to Gwen, but doesn't know exactly how to do it. Flash forward to modern day, Peter and Harry have an argument. It turns out it's revealed that Harry's popping that perk 30. Mary Jane catches Pete at the tombstone of Gwen Stacy. She's actually trying to deliver a letter that was sent by a mother of a kid who has leukemia. The letter was sent to the Daily Bugle and it says it's for Spider-Man. There's two things wrong with this. One, if you wanted to send a letter to Spider-Man, why would you send it to the Daily Bugle where they famously hate Spider-Man? Number two, why does Mary Jane have this? Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Number three, why didn't J. Jonah Jameson open this letter up when he saw who it was for? You get this long drawn out montage of Harry just walking around New York City high as hell, and yep, another flashback. Here we go, another flashback. Spider-Man Lotus is basically a collection of montages, flashbacks, and most of all, time padding. Green Goblin may have not had much screen time in Lotus, but the voice actor, I have to say, did a good job of portraying the character. Green Goblin starts to put it in Spider-Man's head that Gwen's death is on his hands. He does this multiple times. He even submits to an ass beating, which is such a Green Goblin thing to do. He knows that if he loses this fight, Peter's going to remain living with these words in his head. I thought that was very well done. All except this "see you in hell" line. It's pretty cringe.
See you in hell.
These flashback scenes are the most exciting sequences you're gonna get because the short Goblin fight is the last you're gonna see of Spider-Man in action in this entire 2-hour movie. Spider-Man 2 had this balance between action and drama pretty well, but that was a huge budget movie. I'm not comparing the two in that way. I'm just saying that the writing itself allowed to keep people engaged with great pacing for both. With great pacing comes great responsibility. We get another boring scene with Mary Jane having a flashback and Flash Thompson catching her smoking a cigarette. I might be tripping out, but I feel like the actor for Flash Thompson kind of looks like Ben Shapiro's more athletic older brother.
Let's say you've been a bad girl. Let's say, hypothetically, you've been a naughty girl even.
We cut to a scene where Spider-Man visits the kid who wrote him a letter. This mother also just leaves a random man in a mask who she doesn't know, just completely alone with this kid, which is beautiful parenting.
It's every newspaper that the Daily Bugle ever wrote about you. Well, almost. I crossed off all the bad stuff they said.
That right there, kid, is modern journalism for you. That's definitely step one. You're on your way.
Is this you?
No, dumbass, it's a drawing. Peter just starts trauma dumping on this cancer kid. We then cut to Harry at his dad's tombstone. Mary Jane finds him, they cry. We get an origin story explanation from Peter. It's very reminiscent of the original Raimi movie, but it's also very much unneeded and acts as filler for the runtime. We didn't need an explanation. And the rest of this film from here forward is a lot of montages and emotional conversations. Some of it hits kind of hard and most of the rest falls pretty flat. One that I did like was when Peter takes his mask off and has this discussion with the kid who's scared to die because of the illness. He has leukemia. I thought this was a pretty good scene here. But Jesus, I mean it when I say a lot of this is strictly padding. They named this movie Spider-Man Lotus, but it should have been called Peter Parker and the Memories from back in the day. Peter Parker and the Collection of Memories. There you have it. That was the movie we were all hyping up at one point. When I look at the comment section, I could see that opinions are a little split. There is a lot of support here, though some fans are delusional, saying that this movie looks and feels better than an MCU film, which is completely delusional. You're lying to yourself if you feel this way. When I sit back and think about it, though, it kind of reminds me of how I felt when I first saw that MegaMan movie I mentioned earlier. Maybe in their minds, they feel good about seeing something done decently that hasn't been abused by a big corporation milking the silk out of Spider-Man's udders. If people are enjoying it, then honestly, I'm happy for them. People don't watch fan films for perfection. We watch them for the charm. Despite the acting, the writing, even the bad special effects, sometimes it works purely on an entertainment standpoint alone if you're into this type of thing. I mentioned earlier, this isn't the first fan-made Spider-Man film that I've seen or that even exists. There's a handful of fun ones that I'd personally recommend over this one. Marvel Knights Spider-Man is definitely cheesy, but it has a lot of things to get excited for. It features a jam-packed lineup of characters represented here. I'm talking like Venom, Carnage, Miles Morales, Kraven the Hunter, Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin. Just give it a shot. It's probably one of my favorites. We have a Miles Morales film that surprisingly ties into the Raimi universe, which I do find entertaining. It's a fun watch. Definitely campy as hell, but it's cool to see more Miles Morales. The Green Goblin's Last Stand looks like a scuffed film that you'd find in a cartel member's VHS tape stash. Either way, you'll have fun watching it if you're into this older home movie aesthetic. The actor for Spider-Man also pulled off some dangerous stunts in this one. 100% real, apparently. Dude could have seriously hurt himself during the filming of this one. The acting is crazy entertaining. We see the angriest Spider-Man ever portrayed on film.
Shut your disgusting mouth, you burn it! You've got no idea what it's like to love somebody or to be loved, and then have someone taken from you!
These three aren't perfect, so don't go into them head first expecting some kind of Hollywood work. They definitely aren't boring, I'll tell you that. All the links to all of the fan films I've mentioned throughout this video are going to be found below in the description. Have you watched Spider-Man Lotus? How'd you feel about it? Did you not watch Spider-Man Lotus? I don't blame you. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like and maybe even subscribe. Who knows, you might like the other stuff I got going on here. My name is No Clout Joey. Thanks for watching. Oh, and if this video doesn't hit the time mark that I'm kind of shooting for, then I'm just going to use a bunch of city B-roll to hopefully get it to where I need it to be. They did it. Why can't I?
Maybe it wasn't as simple as I remember it.